Hi, everybody. I'm sure you're probably looking for an update from, the two videos I was shot like a couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks ago about Tony. And I'm sorry, I'm scratching my leg. I got a leg itch. You're probably wondering what's happened the last 8 days. Well, today is May the 8th now because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, this is everything from April 30th through yesterday, May the 7th. Well, I'm sorry, I ate some stuff. I keep feeling like I got stuff in there too. Well, okay. Like I said in those two videos at the beginning, I'm going to talk about some rather icky stuff here. Icky, gross stuff. So, if you don't like hearing about gross stuff, then let me tell you something. Just skip over the next little bit of the video or so. And, I'll talk about some other stuff in the video too. But I want to talk about what's going on with Tony and give some updates on him. Okay, and this is, one thing I do have to say here at the beginning is, in case you couldn't figure out from those two videos, this has just been, long story short, a whole hot mess for Tony and myself. I mean, it's just, it's been a mess, kids. Well, let's, start where we left off 2 Saturdays ago on the 29th. Well, Tony was facing, a couple more surgeries on him, one on his heart and one on his foot. Well, and before I go any further, this is the gross part, so you might want to fast forward for a little bit and then, you can get on to the other stuff. Well, as you should remember, Tony lost all the toes on his right foot. He had gangrene. This all started back on April 16th. He's still, just as an aside, just so you know where he is, let's also start with where Tony is right now. He's in hell. I'm just kidding. He's not in hell. He's in his idea of hell right now because he hates being in the hospital. He is still at the same hospital that he's been at since 3 Saturdays ago. It hasn't gone anywhere. So he's still in the hospital. He is not doing so hot right now. But, this past week he's had surgery on his foot. And they've closed everything up, sewed everything up. I have to tell you that yesterday morning on Sunday morning, I made the mistake of seeing the picture of what his foot looks like without the bandage on it. I about yacked. I mean, Tony's phone is attached to the Apple TV in my living room. And I happened to get into his pictures yesterday morning on Sunday. Almost puked. I was like, ugh. I mean, it's just a stump. It's just, we're talking no fingers. It's just, from here down on his foot. It's like, and then as if, it wasn't bad enough and he's got the malarkey going on with his heart, on his left foot, like on the bottom of his left foot, he's developed a sore. It's like, seriously, could we, catch a break here? And then, they're talking about maybe later today, and I'm not 100% sure right now. Either today, Monday today, the 8th of May, giving him heart surgery for the other bit that I mentioned in the other video, that he hasn't had that yet. Or tomorrow on Tuesday on the 9th of May. But anyway, last week they sewed his foot up. it's been draining a little bit because, his bandage on his right foot is like part of it, like where it's like around, like on the bottom, like towards like where his big toe used to be. It's like draining, and it started draining Saturday. Like the nurse and I noticed it was draining Saturday night. So and the nurse marked his foot where it's been draining. I'm like, oh, gross. Well, there's that. And part of the problem is he's like this past week, and they decided not to give Tony the other surgery this past weekend for 3 very good reasons. Reasons 1 and 2 are his kidneys. And the third reason is because they want to make sure that everything's copacetic with his kidneys before they pump him full of the dye that they're going to use for the heart surgery, because apparently the dye that they use for his heart surgery is hard on his kidneys. Well, he's had a very hard weekend. Friday night, Saturday morning, he got like no sleep, so he watched King Charles get coronated live, and he was like, can't sleep, sat up and watched Chuck get coronated. King Charles III get coronated. I'm still calling him Prince Charles. He's been like Prince Charles for 99% of my life. Like most of his life too. But it is what it is. So I haven't heard definitively one way or the other. But that's what I heard. But what I know for sure is on Friday, this past Friday on the 5th of May, the doctor come in and I just happened to be there. And the doctor said, look, we're going to see what goes on this weekend with your kidneys and make sure nothing crazy happens. And then, we'll talk about it on Monday, you having surgery then or Tuesday, depending on how things go. Okay, and that's where we left it. Pretty much with the doctor. With the heart doctor, that is. Well, poor Tony. He... Ironically enough, I have been blaming him for things. I told him, I said, now here's the proof that, I've been yapping on about that you're full of hot air, piss, vinegar, and a few other things. He's been having some gastrointestinal issues. Well, he rectified that situation yesterday on Sunday. In fact, he's still dealing with it right now, as a matter of fact, and he is not a happy camper. He's in a lot of pain. He can't, and this is the thing, and this goes into why he can't go to the bathroom. Like if I needed to jump up and go to the bathroom right now, I could, but he can't do that because, unfortunately, Tony can't put any weight on his right foot right this minute. And I mean, granted, and much to his credit, this past week, this is the good news. They've got him to sit up on the edge of the bed. They've got him there. He's not been laying in bed this whole past week. Because I said to the other doctor, the foot doctor, or the house doctor, or what it was. We've seen so many doctors in the past 3 weeks. I'm lucky I know who's who around here. But it was the house doctor right before his last foot surgery. And I said to him, hey, I said, I think he needs to start getting some physical therapy in here because, he's, I'm like, if we're going to close his foot up this week, and this was like last Monday or Tuesday here, I was like, well, I think Tony needs to start getting some physical therapy so he can start getting his strength up, to help with that second heart surgery. And, he's going to have to learn to stand and walk on that foot eventually. I realize that he's going, I just don't want him getting shoveled into this house again and him nearly have a bit of physical therapy or anything to help take care of him. I'm like, look, you're not shoveling that off on me. I'm like, oh no, he needs physical therapy. I don't care what you have to do, but he's getting it. I want him to get the physical therapy. And I requested, a physical therapist that I knew that works for the hospital system. And I'm like, if we could get her, that would rock. I won't say her name here because, it's, she's at one of the branch hospitals. But, apparently she's not going to be at that hospital, but that's fine. I'm like, can I request, and I told him who. And I just said, I absolutely, she was my physical therapist when I had to learn to re-walk 4 years ago in 2019, and she was awesome. And I was just like, well, I just want to ask for her. I was like, I realize if you can't get her, that's fine. Things happen, But yeah, much to their credit at the hospital, this past week they've got Tony to sit up in bed. He's been sitting up in bed and his feet's been hanging off the edge of the bed. And like they had him sitting in a chair last week for a little bit, and then they realized, his whole right side was having issues because when they did the heart surgery on him 2 weeks ago, in the last couple of weeks, they did something with his right arm to where it made it weak because it's like they put it in like a stent through his arm or something, and like it went in through. What I know is it went in his arm, and they worked on the one thing in his heart through his arm. I don't know how they do this. This is beyond me, so don't ask. So, and they did whatever they did, and Tony was having problems putting pressure on his right hand because his arm was weak from that other surgery. So and he's been struggling with it. But one thing, they've got him on this, like they gave him this little machine. It's about this wide, about this tall, and it's got a hose in it, and it's got like in the middle, it's got like a cylinder in it that he can put the hose in his mouth and blow in it, and so it's kind of like a breathalyzer test almost, but it's not. What it is he blows into it, and it, helps him with his lungs and stuff. So they've got him doing that and everything. So, he's been at least, like they're trying to get his hands going again, and they're trying to get him to sit up so that way, and I'm like thinking, well, if we get him to at least sit on the edge of the bed, it's a start. That's my thought. I'm like, well, if we get him to sit on the edge of the bed, it's a start. I mean, gotta start somewhere. Like I told him, I'm like, honey, I'm like, I know from personal experience, physical therapy is hard on your body, especially when it's on your legs. So, Tony gets here, this is so hard. Shut your mouth. I'm like, Tony, I know it's hard. You're preaching to the choir. You're talking to somebody who knows firsthand what it's like. I'm like, you can do it, but you have to want to do it. I'm like, you have to, it's like if it hurts, say, look, it hurts. Can we stop? Or can we slow down? Slow it down, take it real slow. I'm like, don't rush it. That's what I keep telling him. I'm like, just take your time with it. Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm like, sweetheart, you just take your time. I'm like, if just sitting on the edge of the bed and, you swinging your legs, if that's, if that's what they, or they have you do ankle exercises, which a lot of times at night, I have to do it myself to make sure that my, my feet won't all pop. But, it's like I told him, I said, honey, I had to learn to re-walk too. I'm like, of course, I've been lucky, knock on wood. I haven't had any real bad issues with my feet. I mean, granted, there's times when I feel like I'm stepping on a golf ball with razor blades on it in my left foot, but, and I walk funny now, but it's like, I mean, I'm being very patient with him. And, speaking of me having issues with my legs, just as an aside, I've been having a lot of trouble, as I mentioned, walking. I walk funny now. I walk very slowly. But there's just, I had a flare up in my legs again in the past week, and it's been a struggle. And that's part of the reason why I haven't said anything, is because I'm in just physical agony half the time. And I went to the hot doctor ER and said, look, I can't stand it anymore. And it's like it's like I'm having respiratory distress too. And I just said, can I get some help, please? It ends up where I've caught a mild case of bronchitis and I have a bit of infection in my legs, and that's why my legs are itching. And it goes, into like when I started shooting this video. And they're still itching kind of now. Well, I gotta take medicine for it. Well, anyway, with that said, it's like I have been out running around, and it's like yesterday on Sunday, I was just drained because I'll tell you what, I was just like, I'm just so tired. And no, I wasn't up Saturday morning to see Charles get coronated. Okay, it's just like I literally went to bed like about an hour before it came on here in the States, because local time here in Northern Kentucky, the thing started at 8:30 London, England time, and it started at 5:30 in the morning here. So I was crawling in bed at like 4 in the morning, just because I just could not go to sleep, because I had to wait for my medicine to kick in. Oh God. I managed to crawl up the steps to the bed, and I just dropped in the bed and went right to sleep. Saturday, I slept. I slept and I slept and I slept. I didn't feel good, and I got up and went and seen Tony. And I was having problems yesterday on Sunday sleeping too, Saturday night, Sunday morning. And I tell you what, yesterday we had a bad thunderstorm blow through here about 8:30 yesterday morning on Sunday. I woke up frightened because it sounded like a big explosion over my head. I heard boom, and I'm like, I woke up and I thought, oh my God, what was that? What the heck was that? And I was like, and I must have pulled a certain way, because all of a sudden my left foot started screaming at me, and I'm like, oh my God. And I had to hop back down here and take something for it. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Thank God I wasn't up there with Tony, because I would have probably kicked him. Accidentally, mind you. But anyway, with all of that fun and business said, oh, this feels good. There is a little bit of good news. Now, this is completely contingent on Tony. It is. And when he has that surgery. If he has it in the next day or so, like later today or sometime tomorrow, because I haven't heard definitively when the surgery is. When he has that surgery and he's well enough, and the hospital feels that he's quote unquote well enough to leave, what they're going to do is they're going to take him back over to the first hospital that he was at for physical therapy. And he's going to have physical therapy done at the other hospital, which is a lot closer for me to have to drive to, because it's a bit from where we live here to get from here to where he is now. But yeah, it's just, he is so looking forward to going over there back to the hospital he started out in. It's like he came in and came out, and it's just, if you want to go, if you live locally to us and you wish to see him, visiting hours are from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, 7 days a week at both hospitals. And I know they locked that place up tighter than a monkey's behind. I tell you, they locked that place up pretty tight. And, Saturday night when I was getting out of the ER at that same hospital, I was like, what you have to do is, like, if you go, like, after 8 p.m., they will let you in at the other hospital where Tony is now. They're kind of weird about it at the first hospital. But, like I was like, hey, listen, you know, I stopped in the yard because I'm having issues. I was having issues with my legs and I was afraid for my own self. And I said, I need to go up, I'll go to the doctor, and I both want me to go up to see my husband before I leave because I'm on medicine that they want me to be completely free of before they let me go drive myself home. And I explained it to the security guards. The nice thing is like they give you like a name tag on a sticker. I felt like a 5-year-old kid in preschool. And like they have my picture, on file. And that's what the security does. They print out this label with your name on it and like the dates. So they know, okay, this person has been through security, been to security. That we know who she is. We know where she's going. We know who she's here to see. And I explained it. I said, listen, I would have been up there to see him sooner, but I was stuck in the ER dealing with that. I said, and they could see I still had, well, I don't have it on now, but at that time I had, the medical bracelets that the hospital gives you when they have you, when they're seeing you. And, they, saw that I had the bracelet on and I was telling the truth. And like I had a band, like a big cotton wad here on my wrist and one here on my elbow and one on this hand and one in this elbow. And they could tell I was telling the truth. Like I would make that up anyway. And I mean, I just was feeling yucky right then because when they had the IV in my wrist, my left wrist, they put me through a CT scan with contrast. And if you've never had that done, that is not fun because it's like you feel it. I felt like they were pouring like hot something down my, like water, like some funky water down my arm. And like went in my arm, and then it's like I felt hot from here to my butt bone. And it was just, I was laying there thinking, like, I was laying there like this going, oh, sweet Jesus. I'm like, this is uncomfortable. And they put you in, if you suffer from claustrophobia and you have to have a CT scan done, let me give you some advice. Close your eyes and take slow, deep breaths because that's the only way you're going to get through it. That's the only way I can get through it. It's just, because you're feeling like stick you in. It's like the hokey pokey with medical devices, like they stick you in, you hear it warm for a few minutes and they yank you back out and they stick you back in and they yank you back out. And, it's like a whole bunch of noise and stuff. And I'm like, I'm just going to lay here and I'm just going to close my eyes just because that's all I can do right now is just shut my eyes and think about going upstairs to see Tony. And it's just, it's just, things are itching right now. It's just but anyway, that said, hopefully Tony gets to go to rehab sometime between now, Monday, May the 8th, and, this weekend. I hope so. I can't honestly say if he's going to. Like I can't give like an ETA on when that's going to happen, but hopefully that's this week. But we're just waiting to see what's going on with Tony's kidneys. That's the big thing right now. Is as soon as we figure out that his kidneys are looking fine. But the other thing, and I forgot to mention this about his GI issues, he has started straightening that out tonight. Or yesterday on Sunday, while I was there with him, he started resolving that issue, his bowel issue. I won't say what he was doing, but it was not pretty, and it smelled horrible. He wasn't throwing up or anything; it was the other way. He corrected that situation, and he's over there now having a bowel movement, basically. A big way. It's a whole lot of He's like, oh, and he's been grunting and groaning and sniping at me. And I'm like, honey, I can't help you. I'm not a nurse. I'm like, but I love you. I finally was like, it's like, it got to be like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, okay, A, visiting hours are over, and B, you stink. Literally. I'm like, you smell. I'm like, I've had enough of you. You are stinking me out, honey. I'm like, no offense, but you are stinking me to death. And what I said to myself, I love you. I'm not going to kiss you because I am trying to get over this mild touch of bronchitis that I have. I'm like, but you're killing me, man. I haven't said that to him in about 3 weeks. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, it's that. So hopefully, and this is the thing, hopefully, Tony, one, has his heart surgery in the next, I'd say, 48 hours. Hopefully. If we're lucky. If we're lucky, he will have the second surgery. And what they're going to do is they're going to put, and I should explain this, they're going to put the other stent in his heart. It's like I explained in at least one of the other 2 videos. It's like it was like something about like the other spot that Tony has an issue with is like in a funky spot. So it's going to, be like a little more involved. That's what's going on. That's why this is, like a bigger deal than the first one, because it's just a whole lot of hanky-panky with that. And, excuse me, so they're like, well, we got to go do this and we got to go do that. And, it's like turn him around like he's a fritter on the fire, I told him, I said, you're going to have something in common with St. Lawrence. Turn me over on this side, I'm done. What I told him, I go, you're going to be just like St. Lawrence. Turn me over, I'm done. That's what I told him. I'm like, your patron saint is St. Lawrence, Danny. So what I said to him, I'm like, pray to St. Lawrence that they turn you over eventually. He's like, he didn't get the joke. And I mean, even that whole thing about St. Lawrence was in the movie Under the Tuscan Sun. So. But anyway, like I mentioned in at least, well, actually I mentioned it in both videos now that I sit here and think about it. What it is in the description of this video, like I did with the other 2 videos, I'm going to include underneath the warning links to both the GoFundMe page and my book. Give on the GoFundMe page, and please give generously, because, I mean, seriously, Tony hasn't worked for a month now, and I dare say it'll probably be at least another couple of months before he starts working, and I mean, we're drowning, okay? I mean, it's like, I hate asking for help, but it's at the point where, we need the help, seriously. And if you've already given, I want to say thank you. But please, pass that link around for the GoFundMe. I mean, I've already told as many people as I possibly can. But to be honest with you, and I mean, there are some people that have helped us out offline that I'm not going to talk about that here, other than to say thank you to them. They know who they are. But we really, truly need the help. And it's like I mentioned in the second video, I'm not able to work, and it's because of my legs. And, this is no joke. It's like, I have to get transported up to his room, okay? That's how bad it is. I didn't tell you how bad it was in the last video, but I'm going to here. It's so bad that it's like, I have a difficult time where he is right now, getting from my car to where he is up on the 5th floor of the hospital. I can barely make it to the reception desk at the front door, where 99% of everybody comes to it. And I'm like, the girl yesterday, when I got there, I was ready to collapse. And I said, could you please? She's like, you want to transport, don't you? And I said, yes. She's like, honey, you look like you're ready to collapse. I said, sweetie, you have no idea. I am ready to drop standing here. Because, I mean, it's just really hard with, the infection in my legs and everything, and it hurting and all. I mean, it's like, I've tried, well, anyway, enough of me complaining about me, but anyway, hopefully, and I will say this now, before I stop for the time being. Hopefully, fingers crossed, one, Tony gets to have his heart surgery and it goes smoothly without a hitch and not like what happened to him when they had him on the table back on April 16th and he dies. Let's all hope that doesn't happen. And secondly, I hope that if he's able to get said surgery, that two, once he's well enough and they feel that he can leave, barring anything else going wrong, that he can leave and go to the physical therapy over at the first hospital that he was at when this mess all started 3 weeks ago. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Tony will be able to do that. And I will try to keep you all updated. Though I know that there's got to be at least one more video that I'm going to shoot at least with another update, like if you got a surgery or whatnot. But anyway, like I said, today's May the 8th, 2023, and that's everything from April 30th through yesterday, May the 7th, 2023, of what's going on with Tony. Well, anyway, like I said, I'm going to attach to the description of this video the links for the GoFundMe in my page, or in my book, so, go buy a bunch of books, because you are really actually helping as well. And, the GoFundMe, please go to the GoFundMe page and give. And that'll help us out, more than I can tell you. But anyway, I want to thank you for watching my video, and I'm sorry I kind of went on and on and on, but there's just a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to explain, and it is what it is. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.